everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Marissa. I am a licensed professional counselor who loves all things self-care, and I like to show my lifestyle and knowledge around mental health. Today's video, we have our very first installment of Ask Your theraSIS, where I am your theraSIS, and I get to have people on here like my wonderful supervisors. We're going to answer your guys' questions around big topics. Like today, we're going to be talking about Black mental health and what it's like to go into therapy as a Black person or a person of color. So I'm gonna let my supervisors introduce themselves. So Nichole.
Yes, I'm Nichole Harris. I am a licensed professional clinical counselor, and I specialize in maternal health, women in transition, and early childhood mental health, and just really trying to hold space for people who look like me, for them to feel comfortable coming on the couch.
Okay, Amber.
Hi, my name is Amber Crosby. I am a licensed professional clinical counselor in training to be a supervisor. I have been counseling for like 7-8 years. I specialize in marriage, couple, and families. I'm recently EMDR trained but not certified yet, which is a type of trauma therapy, you know, getting there and stuff. Yeah.
Then Sherry.
All right, so I'm Sherry Barbour. I'm an independent marriage and family therapist specializing in trauma and couples. Recently also EMDR trained and also a clinical trauma specialist.
Cool. So as you can see, all my friends, coworkers, and supervisors are so knowledgeable and have so much wisdom about going to therapy and doing the extra stuff around specializing in trauma, you know, Black mental health, and everything along those lines. So we have some really good knowledge here going on. So we are so prepared to answer guys' questions, and so let's get into it. Y'all ready?
Yes.
Let's go.
Yes, let's do it.
Okay. Okay, so let's get started with the questions. Okay, so I got all my questions from Instagram. Thank you if you guys sent them in, or we're going to be answering them for you guys today. So they have not seen these questions yet. Only I have, so I'm really pretty excited about them. So okay, so for the first Ask Your theraSIS, does race matter in therapy? What are our thoughts on that? Does race matter in therapy? That's the first question.
Is that the therapist to the therapy?
All of it. So is it for the therapist, for the client, everything in there?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Race, ethnicity, culture, all of that plays a part in not only therapy, but the relationship with the client's relationship with the therapist. And how we handle that is really important to the health of the client that's coming in,
Because they bring it all into the room. It's like they bring their baggage, and we're unpacking all of those things. So it would behoove us not to acknowledge that there are some racial, cultural differences, so that we can also know how we can help the client in their journey.
I would agree with that. I think it for sure does matter.
Absolutely.
Like, it would be kind of not in our best practice to not acknowledge that. I feel like.
Especially when it comes down to identity, right? Because a lot of people can't separate whatever identity they have, Black, white, a person of color, they can't separate that from their mental health. Oftentimes their mental health is increased by their identity, you know, and mental health symptoms are increased by identity issues. So we have to be able to include race as part of one of the things that we consider.
So I think we all saying yes.
Yes.
It matters.
Absolutely, it matters.
It for sure matters. So a little step further than that. So should finding a therapist be about picking the right fit, or should it be about just getting a Black therapist to be supporting Black?
Fit.
I
agree.
Fit. I think fit too.
Yeah.
Like, it's much more than to say like my therapist is Black, because if they're Black and it's not a good fit, it's gonna be like, what's all that for?
Yeah,
They
really
get the right
should be
fit
about
and being a Black therapist. That's the icing on the cake.
Right.
Yes, but fit is way more important.
Yeah, my therapist isn't Black, but she's a great fit. And she came at the time that I needed. So it really didn't matter. I would have preferred a Black therapist personally, but you know, it just came down. You know, she get me, so we make that thing happen.
Yeah. Okay, it's about the fit. Find a fit. Okay, next. Are my thoughts backed by my culture, or do other people think in the same way?
We have a common culture, I think, and a common experience, but all of our experiences are different. So I could see where they may think that it comes from the culture, maybe depending on the messages that they're getting from the people that they live with or are exposed to. But it's possible by having some other experiences, they will get a different lens and a view.
It's also how you define your culture too, because there are different elements of culture. You know, we talked about do it for the culture, right?
Right.
And then there's also the culture of your family of origin or your ethnic culture or your religious culture. So all those things can play a role in how you think and your thoughts and your beliefs. So I think it's important to kind of look at it in that way of breaking it up.
Yeah.
It absolutely does. It has to play a role. Because that's who you are, right? That's all of those things that came in to why you're sitting in the chair.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, absolutely.
All right. So I feel like this is a really good question for you guys. So what are some of the mental health issues you notice more prevalent in Black women? And from a more of a professional standpoint, not so much the general public would notice.
It's deep. Superwoman.
Yeah.
I would for sure agree on that one.
Unresolved trauma that they don't recognize as trauma.
Downplaying it.
This may be a little bit controversial, but I've
Not a bold
noticed
statement.
there is an emotional, because we are so in tune with our emotions. It's the belief that we all women are more in touch with their emotions. I think we are, but I think we know less what to do with our emotions, and that shows up so much in parenting. It shows so much in relationships, in our friendships, of like how to navigate how intense our emotions are and can be, and knowing how to balance that with logic and reasoning. That we do need to be able to navigate life.
I know how much of that comes from a generational standpoint. I know, Sherry, you talk about the genograms and how much that's like a generational thing that carries on. So I feel like that is part of it too.
Absolutely.
How we learned. You know, that's what we learned to do, from the superwoman to the
unresolved
trauma.
Because we don't see it as trauma. We saw our mom do it.
Yes.
Right? We saw grandma do it. But that doesn't mean that we have to do it. And so we don't realize that in us doing it, it's stressing us out. It's causing undue anxiety in all these different areas of our life. And sometimes it just comes down to saying, hey, is this okay that I'm feeling this way? Or did something happen to me that, that I need to unpack so that I can be the best me, and maybe even stop the generational patterns that are negative and causing a negative effect in our family. So
now this is an additional question just for me. Do you guys feel like you see yourself showing up in those common things in the sessions with people, when it's like being a superhero or that unresolved trauma, like all those things?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Me too.
Absolutely.
Also that little bit of imposter syndrome too. Because we try to figure out, well, how do we get here? Were we enough to get here? What do we need to do to stay here? Where we are professionally.
Or like, I'm just new to figuring this out myself. How would I help somebody else navigate this space of, this is how they've been their whole life, and they're significantly older than me. So it's like, well, dang, how am I qualified to be able to help them navigate that?
I think that comes with the myth that your therapist has it together. But we chose this field because of something. So just knowing that we're holding space that is kind of the foundation of it is, hey, I can identify with needing to be in this chair for whatever reason at some point in my life.
Right.
Hey, that's a good question.
It was a good question.
It was. It was yours, right?
It was from someone on Instagram.
Okay.
So, you know who you are. Okay, this is another one, really good one. Should I want my therapist to be spiritually aligned with me?
No. I mean, it's helpful if they are, but I don't think you should. One of my clients is Muslim. I'm not. And what's helped me to connect with her has been her giving me the information about, like, okay, well, these are what my spiritual teachings are, and I use that to help guide her through whatever she's doing. I'm nowhere near Muslim. In that space, like, she tells me how helpful it is for her. It doesn't matter that I'm a Christian. I think it helps to because I'm a person of faith.
Right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I
That's
like
what I
that.
was gonna say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And believing that we are. Yeah, I think that's super important. Not necessarily that you need it,
Mm-hmm.
but I do know that if that's something that is important to me, I would want to know that my therapist is able to recognize
Mm-hmm.
and validate that
Mhm.
Yeah.
and use that when I need it
Absolutely.
in the
Yes.
therapy session.
So
So
we to pray for them.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a couple clients who are more into like their Christian faith, or I have a couple clients who are Muslim too. And we use that a lot. And I've been very transparent with like, I may not know everything, but
Mhm.
Exactly.
for you,
Mhm.
like this is what it could look like.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that has helped her a lot in her sessions. So
Mhm.
yeah. Y'all answered that a little easier than I thought. I thought it was gonna be more of like, let me think about it. This one was they were just playing around in the way that I worded it. But they said, I'm Black, I don't need no stinking therapist, do I? So that was more going to like
Mhm.
people in the Black community, they don't talk about therapy
Yeah.
as like a
Mhm.
needed thing. It's kind of like, oh, you got a roof over your head, you got your basic needs met, that's enough.
Yeah.
So what are your guys' thoughts on
We're
that?
changing that.
We are.
Changing the
We're
face of
changing
mental
that.
health.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're
It's
changing
dispelling
that.
all the myths about that.
Yeah.
The reality is therapy is not just about you having a disorder,
Mm.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not. It's we are able to look at it from the full spectrum of, look, some stuff happened to you in your life. It's
Mhm.
impacting your communication,
Mhm.
your relationships,
Mhm.
your work stuff.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You know, it's impacting all those things. Let's look at that.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to be like, oh my gosh, you are schizophrenic, and we're gonna take
Right.
you to the place.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Take it to the place.
I think just in the Black community especially, we are just very, very apprehensive about someone knowing our business.
Mhm. Yeah.
And
Where's that come from?
yeah, and
that
that's
privacy.
and then that's
It
It
it comes
comes from
down.
slavery.
Oh, absolutely.
What happens in this house stays in this
Yeah.
house.
Well,
It kept
it
us
kept
safe,
us safe.
during that
Yeah.
time.
We'll
Yes.
never be able to kind of push out that discomfort
Mhm.
with the medical field, and we have to add therapy into
Yes.
that space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's your care, your health care in
Yeah.
general, in that space where we weren't safe, where we were guinea pigs, where we
Mhm.
weren't. It was
Mhm.
used against us to, you know. I even knew somebody at some point. He's in the military and he works somewhere, some secret situation, and he told me, he was like, I can't let anybody know. Because of the job that I have, I can't let
Yes.
anybody know that I've been to therapy or that I talked to a therapist, because that puts his job at risk.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So it's still that level of, what are people going to think of me? Are they going to think I'm capable of being able to do my job, or
Yeah.
think less of me?
Mhm.
We all had somebody who was like, oh, well, did you take your medication today? So it's used against you. So there's all these different
Yeah.
things as to
Mhm.
why we kind of push ourselves on the back burner. I'm like, well, you know what? Maybe therapy ain't it. You know,
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk to my pastor. I'm gonna talk to my mama, my grandma.
But
Yeah,
it's
just-
not therapy.
Just
Yeah.
your family, they just aren't able to hold the kind of space you may
Mhm.
need because they're biased,
Yes. very.
right?
Mhm.
Whether that's for or against you.
Mhm.
And sometimes you just need that person to just sit in that space with you. It's not about giving you advice or, just sitting in that space while you are able to look at all of your options. And someone says, yes, I hear you.
Mhm.
I validate you.
Mhm.
I can affirm you in this way. Because we're created to be able to figure all of this out,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
But we're also created for a relationship. And sometimes it could be just being in the room, right?
Yeah.
And holding space while you figure it out.
Yeah.
Having no judgment, having no
Yeah.
shoulds.
Yeah.
You should do this. Why didn't you do that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You see the bigger picture,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yes.
when we are, it's us. We're honed in on just these little minimal
Tunnel vision.
options, tunnel vision,
Mhm.
exactly, of this is what it looks like. But with therapy, you're able to, kind of, pinch out a little bit.
Yeah.
See the full picture.
Right, see the full picture. Doing the iPhone thing.
Yeah.
Smartphone.
But yes, no, I agree with all of that. Such a good point about it being about privacy, because I hear that a lot in my sessions.
Yeah.
Like that being a lot for them to even come to therapy, even open up to someone else outside their family or friends, and just feeling very awkward and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And historically, the black community has went to church. But
Yeah.
I say you can have a
Yeah.
preacher and a therapist.
Mhm.
That's what I believe.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get you one.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you need to say words you may not
see our merchandise.
Right?
Right.
There's words out there I may not want to say in front of my pastor.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That I may need to be able to unpack
Mm-hmm.
in a therapy room.
Yeah.
Right. So, or online as we have
On
it
this
now.
virtual
Yeah, on
thing.
this virtual thing.
And it's interesting because this space has that extra level of confidentiality. You don't
Mhm.
have that with your pastor.
Mhm.
Like they can give
Right.
you the word, but it's not by law.
Yeah.
So
Right.
yeah,
You got to hold it.
yeah.
Right. They don't.
You got no
And
choice.
sometimes they don't.
Right.
On top of the fact that when you go to your whatever spiritual leader that you
Mhm.
have, it could just be they're giving you, like you said, they're giving you the word, but what if you can't, you're not in a place where the word actually hits.
Yes, you need
So
much
you,
more than that.
yeah, you end up feeling inadequate, or like your faith isn't enough. Like, well,
Yeah.
I wasn't praying hard enough. I wasn't fasting enough. Like all those
Yes.
things. So that leads, perpetuates more of those negative beliefs and what we call distortions.
Yeah.
That that increase mental health symptoms and things that we go through. So
Yeah, it makes it more so like a them issue rather than like, okay, is it anxiety that's added
Right.
to it? Is it
Yeah.
depression? Is it your
Yeah.
trauma? What has happened to you? Rather than being like just a
What's
solely
wrong
you
with
thing.
you? Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Instead of
Yeah.
what's wrong with you.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we come from that lens. I know we do. Of what happened to you.
Yes.
And I think being able to change that through a therapy room. Sometimes when you go to others, they're just not able to use that language
Yeah.
or even create that presence for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it does become a you thing,
Yeah.
or something's wrong
Quickly.
with you.
Mhm.
Yeah. Very
Right.
fast. Yeah.
Especially if you ain't do what they say.
Right.
Right.
Then it becomes a personal thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's all kinds of things.
all the things.
All the things.
Last question.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Ready.
I can't afford therapy and I have a lot of trauma. What should I do?
Call me anyway. I don't know what this is. A lot of people don't know that they have these benefits.
Mm-hmm.
I spend so many hours telling, well, you have these benefits. Oh, I do? Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you have, I mean, whether that's from one of the private insurance companies to a community plan to a Medicaid, these benefits are there.
Mhm.
And I can't tell you the countless number of people who don't know that.
Mhm. I believe it.
Who don't have any idea that their plan comes with these benefits. So it's out there, it's available. I would say call anyway.
Mhm.
Ask questions.
Yeah.
Call your insurance company. Ask questions.
Or that their employer has EAP.
Oh yeah,
Free sessions through your employer. Most employer plans have what's called employee assistance program,
Mhm.
so that you can get 5, 3, whatever the sessions may be. Some
Yeah.
pay for more,
Yeah.
but it's per incident that you may be experiencing. So one time it might be anxiety, the next is depression, maybe just an adjustment to life.
Mhm.
So being able to tap into those benefits.
Yeah.
And some agencies have sliding scale as well.
Yeah,
That's true.
absolutely. It could possibly be that it's not as far out of reach as what you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you say for the person who explore their options, everything ends up not working out? Are there things that they can do at home or things outside of therapy where they could explore helping on some way, shape, or form?
Yeah. Well, there are so many groups
Mm-hmm.
and things are being offered that don't cost anything.
Mm-hmm.
That you can. I wouldn't try going to grandma for therapy or anything
Right.
like that.
Right.
Definitely for conversation.
Yeah.
But
for support.
for
maybe.
support. But I think that finding a group, there are so many groups out here that offer it for nothing. You can go there and be able to hold space with other people who may be experiencing. And the statistics say that groups are great and they are powerful when it comes to being in a space where someone else can identify with you. So
Yeah.
that's an option. What else, guys?
There's even virtual groups and stuff
Yeah.
now that you
Yeah.
can sign up for that are, I know people, like, we're even part of therapist groups, where we can get together and commiserate. To say the
Hold
least.
space for each other.
Hold
Yeah,
space for each other,
commiserate.
yes. There are I know there are different avenues to where like books and podcasts
Yes.
that are great for that self-development piece and being able to explore the self. There's one book that I like that's called The Body Keeps the Score.
Ooh, I talk about it in session.
Yes, I was just talking about that not too long ago. Grab that book.
Yes.
There's one that's called Present Over Perfect. Sherry has some
I
books
was
that
about to
she's
say.
written.
Yes.
They both do.
Come on
Yes.
now.
Resilience Factor.
Yeah.
Link will be in description.
But yeah, there's
Journaling.
journaling. That's
Yeah.
powerful. Journal every single day. And that's just you holding space for yourself.
Yeah.
Validating yourself and affirming yourself every single day, because each day brings its new challenges, and you need to ground yourself before you take those steps sometimes for a new day. So super important.
Yeah.
There are some books that really talk about that, doing physical exercise.
Yes.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you know, it gives you a list of like different things of how to take care of yourself to be able to promote healthy thinking, healthy living across the board. So Marissa will be having some of those books in her thing.
Her link.
Her link.
Oh, I was like, y'all send me books?
Present over.
You get a book. You get a book.
I was like, I get gifts. But I will say too, make sure you research the author of these books. Like, don't just willy-nilly get whatever book, because make sure it's coming from a reputable source. Like, they're also a clinician or like a researcher, someone in the field where they have some really good knowledge and like evidence-based stuff going on, not just this is my personal thing and it makes it work for me. So, hey, we done. Okay, guys. All right, y'all. Well, that wraps up our first Ask Your TheraSIS video. Thank you guys so much to my supervisors for doing this video with me and taking the time out of their very busy schedules to join me here tonight. There'll be a series on my channel, so I'm hoping to have the next Ask Your TheraSIS video out soon. So please keep sending in those questions, and we hope to give some good answers to them. And I really hope you guys enjoyed all of our answers today and got some good knowledge out of them. How'd you guys like the questions after all?
They were good.
They were good? I thought they were good too.
really
Keep them
good.
coming. Those are
Keep
good
coming.
questions.
Yeah.
Thank you for being vulnerable enough to ask the questions.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, guys. I'll see you in my next one. See you later. Bye. Bye.